Hi all. Today we will start with Unit 13 of MMBC 006, that is Marketing of Services. So let's begin with the objectives of this chapter. Objectives are to understand the basis for making a distinction between product and services, to understand the concept of service in terms of its special characteristics, to understand the implication of these characteristics in designing a marketing strategy, to identify the various elements of a marketing strategy required to successfully market a service, to develop familiarity with each element of the marketing strategy as it is applicable in the case of services. And structure of this unit are: there is introduction, concept of service, reason for growth of the service sector, characteristics of services, elements of marketing mix in service marketing, product pricing, promotion, distribution, people, physical evidence, process, summary, keywords are there, self-assessment test also there. So let's begin with the introduction part. The economists have divided all industrial and economic activities into three main groups: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary activities include agriculture, fishing, and forestry, and secondary activities cover manufacturing and construction. And tertiary activities refers to the services and distribution. The pre-industrial era, the primary activities were the mainstay of the economy. All of you know this is about. And the industrial revolution marked the beginning of increasing importance of secondary activities and gradually decreasing status of the agriculture and allied activities. The period following World War II saw USA become the world's first service economy with more than 50% of the working population employed in the producing services. So, around 75 million Americans are employed in the service sector, and as much as 79% of the US economy is service oriented. This led a New York congressman to remark that American is becoming a nation of people who are serving each other hamburgers or taking in each other's laundry. And this pattern of economics development is not universally applicable to all countries. In many African and Asian countries, the agriculture sector is still the dominant one. In countries like India, we can observe the growing importance of the manufacturing and service sector, while agriculture still continue to retain its stronghold on the economy. And Daniel Bell, in his book The Coming of the Post Industrial Society, called this period of dominance by the service sector as the post industrial society. According to him, if an industrial society is defined by the quantity of goods and marking a standard of living, the post industrial society is defined by the quality of life as measured by the service and amenities, health, education, recreation, and the arts, which are now deemed desirable and possible for everyone. Next is the concept of service. The term service is rather general in concept, and it includes a wide variety of services. There are the business and professional services such as advertising, marketing, research, banking, insurance, and computer programming, legal and medical advices. Then there are services which are provided by professionals but consumed for reason not for business, rather for leisure creation, entertainment, and fulfillment of other psychological and emotional needs such as education, finance, etc. So here is list of selected services. You just go through it, this table, and it will help you to adapt it from Donald Cowell, Marketing of Service, Incomes, London. Okay, so faced with such a broad spectrum, we need to define the concept of service from a marketing viewpoint. Kotler offers one such a definition: a service is any activity or benefit that one party can offer to another that is essentially intangible and does not result in the ownership of anything. Its production may or may not be tied to a physical product. W. J. Stanton views uh, service as fulfilling certain wants and states that services are those separately identifiable, essentially intangible activities which provide want satisfaction and that are not necessarily tied to the sale of a product or another service. To produce a service may or may not require the use of tangible goods. However, when such use is required, there is no transfer of title, that is permanent ownership, to these tangible goods. And during office lunch break, people do not visit a restaurant for relaxation or status. They have limited time at their disposal and want quick clean meal at a reasonable price with minimum fill and fancy. In this case, the restaurant was satisfying the basic hunger need but was catering to a very specific class of customers, office goers, and with a special kind of constraint. That is the example for this. So to be successful, you have to first identify the basic need which is being fulfilled by your service, and secondly find way and mean to differentiate it from that of the competitors so that you can increase your number of customers and also command their loyalty. And next section is reason for growth of the service sector. Manufacturing industries grew because they produced tangible goods which satisfied man's psychological needs of good, food, shelter, and clothing. As the basic need was fulfilled, there was demand for improved satisfaction, and this led to a proliferation of variations of the same product and number of companies involved in its manufacture. The growth of service industries can be traced to the economic development of society and the socio-cultural changes that have accompanied. Okay, so sometimes the growth of specific service industry is the result of a combination of several reasons. Increasing affluence coupled with the desire to utilize leisure time for leisure rather than for doing odd repair job in the house had led to the growing tribe of plumbers and electricians. Increasing affluence combined with increasing complexity of life and increasing insecurity has led to the phenomenon of credit cards and travelers checks, which have proved to be almost perfect substitute for money. These credit cards provide convenience and safety. In fact, the convenience is proving to be a key concept in the provision of services. And here is one table two reason for growth in services industries. So reason is here, type of service request is here. Okay, so you just go through your MMBC 006 study material unit 30. Okay, and activity also here, two activities are there. So next is characteristics of services. What are the characteristics of services? So some of the most commonly accepted characteristics are intangibility, inseparability, heterogeneity, perishability, ownership. Intangibility, when you buy a cake or a soap, you can see, feel, touch, smell, and use to check its effectiveness in cleaning. But when you pay fees for a term in college, you are paying for the benefit of deriving knowledge and education which is delivered to you by teachers. In contrast to the soap, where you can immediately check its benefit, there is no way you can do so in case of the teachers who are providing you the benefit. Teaching is an intangible service. When you travel by aeroplane, the benefit which you are deriving is a service, that is transportation, but it has some intangible aspects such as the particular plane in which you fly. Okay, so that is like that. Uh, Here is one table. Like this, it's may not be clear, so you just use your study material for the clear chart. Okay, so the distinguished features of a service is that in its intangible aspect is dominant. J. Batson has described the intangible characteristics of services which make them distinct from product. These intangible features are: service cannot be touched, precise standardization is not possible, there is no ownership transfer, a service cannot be patented, production and consumption are inseparable, there are no inventories of the service, middlemen roles are different, the consumer is part of the production process to the delivery system must go to the market, or the customer must come to the delivery system. Okay, so activities are here. Inseparability is, in most cases, the service cannot be separated from the person or firm providing it. Services is provided by a person who possesses a particular skill by using equipment to handle a tangible product, or by allowing access to or use of physical infrastructure. A plumber has to be physically presented to provide the service. The beautician has to be available to perform the message. And heterogeneity, the human element is very much involved in providing and rendering services, and this makes standardization a very difficult task to achieve. The doctor who gave you his complete attention in your last visit may behave a little differently the next time. And perishability. Service cannot be stored and are perishable. A car mechanic who has no cars to repair today, or spare a berth on train, and sold seats in a cinema hall present service capacity which is lost forever. Apart from the fact that the service not fully utilized present a total loss. The other dimension of this perishability aspect is that the most services may face a fluctuating demand. Ownership. When you buy a product, you become its owner, be it a pencil, book, shirt, refrigerator, or car. In the case of service, you may pay for its use, but you never own it. By buying a ticket, you can see the evening film show in the local cinema theater. By paying wages, you can hire the service of a chauffeur who will drive you car. By paying the required charges, you can have a marketing research fame survey into the reason for your product poor sale performance, etc. Like that. Okay. And table 3 is here. Implication of service characteristics and ways of overcoming third. The service characteristics is here: intangible, inseparability, heterogeneity, perishability, ownership. These 5 points are the service characteristics. So its implication, means of overcoming characteristics are in separate column. You just refer this table, it will help you for you to quote these things. Okay. And the small size of many service organizations such as beauty parlor, repair shop, barber shops, etc. also limit the use of marketing techniques which can be successfully used in larger organization. And then there is a case of service organizations such as schools, hospitals, universities, which enjoy more demand than they can cope with. These institutions have therefore never felt the need for actively marketing their services. And next is elements of marketing mix in services marketing. For marketing of product, the 4 elements of marketing mix are product, price, distribution, and promotion, which are used in a specific combination to arrive at the marketing strategy. In the case of service, there are 3 additional elements. These elements are people, physical evidence, and process. We shall now take up each of these elements or discussion. Okay, so it's on next subsection, that is 13.6, that we will discuss on next video. Today this video we will wind up here, and for more MBA you just do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. If any doubts, you can contact us anytime.
i-tutor Academy presents Ignou Mba complete syllabus coverage classes for individual students, semester-wise subject with online and flexible timing. For more details, contact on +916 238 21785.